So as you can see, I've gone on to sew in the darts. I hope you can see this. Okay, so I've sewn in the dart. So that's it. Let me turn it to the wrong side so that you can see. Okay, so I've taken in the darts on both sides. I've taken in the darts and I've gone on to press it so that the dart can lie flat. Okay, so that it can lie flat. And then I have the lining as well. I've also sewn in the dart and then pressed it. You can see. Okay, so I've gone into taking the dart and then pressed it. So I'm going to put the fabric and the lining right sides facing before going on to stitch. Okay, so make sure that the dart for the lining and the dart for the main fabric are aligned. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just put in some pins. I'm going to go in and just so that it doesn't shift. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stitch only the side by 1/2 inch. I'll take in the sides by 1/2 inch in order to join the front and the back. I'll just take in 1/2 inch. I'll stitch the sides by 1/2 inch because I will be adding a collar to the neck and sleeves to the armhole. So I'll leave those open. It will be easier when I'm attaching the okay, so I see I need to repin this. I'm seeing some excess on the other side, so I'll just do it that way. So we're just going to attach the back piece to the lining, and we're going to do the same thing. Oops, this pin is spoiling my fabric. I need to get those pegs. I keep on saying I need to get those small pegs because this lining is quite sensitive. It's a spongy lining, so this thing of pins does not help. It frays, or it you know, where the cotton thread just kind of pulls through. Okay, so then I'm going to go onto the machine and just sew the sides of this 1/2 inch and then also 1/2 inch on the side, and then I'm going to flip it to the right side. So that's the front piece. I have the back piece. Okay, and I have the lining pieces here. I'm also just going to align it this way. Okay, I'm going to align it this way and then stitch 1/2 inch on the sides. I'm also going to take in 1/2 inch only on the sides. Okay, I'm going to do the same to the other piece and then place the lining front sides facing. Let me remove this one. Front sides facing. Okay, so after that, after placing the lining 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to join. After I turn that to the right side, I'm going to join these back pieces this way. So after it's been flipped to the right side, rather, it's going to be flipped to the right side and it should lie like this. Okay, so this will be flipped to the right side because now it's on the wrong side, that's why it's not matching. It will be flipped to the right side, and then we're going to just stitch the sides in order to join the back and front, and then we'll be ready to proceed to the down part. Okay, I just wanted to show you how you are going to be attaching the lining to the main pieces. So as you can see, I've gone on to join the lining to the main fabric. Okay, This is how it looks like. So what I did, okay, and this is the wrong side. So what I did was I went on to join the lining right sides facing. So it was like this. Let me just flip it so that you will understand what I did. Okay, so I'll flip it to the wrong side. So it was something like this. Okay, so what I did was I placed right sides facing, okay, and then I went on to stitch the sides. Actually I used 0.25 inches to stitch this, and then I also stitched there to close off. Then I came to the armhole this way and I stitched all the way to the neck, and then on this side also just came down this way. Why did I close off here? Because remember it has that kind of a cord shoulder style on top, so it's going to be sewn on the right side. So you needed to finish the armhole. So for me, I preferred using a lining. You can use an interfacing, or still you can use a bias, but I prefer just to do a lining all the way. So when we have joined this is the front piece, and I have the back pieces here, they're also complete. So when we have joined this to the back to the front, so it should lie something like this, okay, it should lie something like this, and then the front will come like this, okay. So of course there's a zipper allowance here. This would have been folded in that way. You fold in your zipper allowance. I just want to place it so you can see how it's going to lie more or less, okay. You would place it this way and flip it this way. You would place it something like this, okay, and then take the front piece, okay. So you have something like this, okay, and then the next thing is just to sew, to put in your side seam. So you have to use your measurements in order to do that. So after we've placed it together and joined it, we're also going to do the neckline, okay. I'm going to be showing you how to draft that neckline and how we are going to attach it to the rather how to do the collar, and then I'll show you how to attach it to the main bodice before we move on to do the down part of the jumpsuit, okay. So basically that's it for the top part. So I'm just going to go ahead, join the side seams, and then I'll show you how to draft the collar and how to attach it, and then we'll move on to the next session. Thank you for watching. Hello, I want to show you quickly how you take your crotch depth measurement. I've had that question being posed by especially people who are new to sewing. So what you need is a flat surface. I'm using this small plastic chair because it's got a hard surface. So I just sit on it, and then you are going to place your measuring tape from the waist. That is from where you wear your trousers or your shorts from, okay. And you are going to measure it this way, place it there. So where the tape measure touches the surface where you are sitting, that is your crotch depth, okay. Mine here is 10 inches. It's 10 inches. Otherwise, if you forgot to do that, to take that measurement, you can just add 2 inches from your vertical hip measurement. So the position of your hip from the waistline, then you add 2 inches. That will give you your crotch depth. There are other methods that you can use by measuring the inseam. So the most appropriate thing would be for you to ask the client to measure themselves, because it might be uncomfortable for your client to be measured by their stylist, your designer, or your tailor. So you just place your tape this way and measure it to where it touches the hard surface, okay. So it can be any hard surface that you can find. So that's 1. 2, it's to measure the lap measurement, or your lap around circumference, okay. I'm just going to leave my t-shirt up. So that should be the highest or the widest part of your hip. Okay, you pass your tape like that. This is the widest part of my hip. So you can see mine is at 28 inches, because you need these two measurements to draft your trouser or palazzo or shorts. Okay, so this is how you measure your lap. Your lap is also known as your thigh measurement. So you're going to be using this measurement divided by 2. Okay, I hope that helps. And we're going to be using this on the down part of the palazzo that we're making. Thank you. So here we are. I've gone on to stitch the back piece to the right, to the front piece of our bodice. So I just use my measurement to do the stitch. I don't know that you can see it. So I just ran a stitch on both sides, just the side seam, and then of course you can see our zipper allowance. I've just held it together with pins and pegs. I'm going to attach the zipper last, after we've done the down part, and then attach the top part to the bottom part of our jumpsuit, because I want these edges to be, once the zipper has been put in, because it's going to be like this after the zipper has been taken in or has been attached. So then I want these raw edges to be hidden into our collar. Okay, so I've gone on to make the collar, and so what I did, I added some interfacing to it just to give it structure, because I want the collar to stand nicely. And I showed you how to draft the collar for this. Okay, so you can rewind the video if you didn't understand and watch it again and just see how we arrived at this piece. Okay, so I'm going to be attaching it later on, okay, after we've done the bottom part and attached it to our top part. And also after attaching the down part, that's when we're also going to add our, you see, if you look at the picture in the thumbnail and even at the end and the beginning of the video, you will see that this design has got kind of a cord shoulder with gathers or frills going on around this area. So I'm going to attach that as one of the last things. So it's the zipper, and then the frills we're going to attach later, and also the collar. So the collar is just going to be placed here, okay, and then it will go around to the back, so it will be kind of a standing collar like that. And then we're going to add our frills here to form that cord shoulder design. But I want to do that last, because I want to see if the fabric that I have will be enough for making the down part first, and then if I'll have enough left to make those frills. Because I'm thinking if the fabric is not enough, then I would have to get maybe a plain fabric with one of the colors here, maybe yellow. I like yellow because it's a bright color. Since you see this is very dark and I'm also dark skinned, so I want something that adds some color to it. So if the fabric is not enough, I have a plain yellow fabric that I can use to make the frills, but we will see at the end. So that's why I'm leaving that part to the end after we've done everything else. So right now we're going to move on to the down part, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so we're now going to be drafting the lower part of our jumpsuit. Remember, we had already finished with the upper part. So here I'm just bringing the top part so that you understand one thing. Remember, I took my waist measurement to be 36 inches, but since we've already done this top part, and sorry for that noise, we have people racing on the streets. Okay, so since we've already stitched our top part, and we added obviously the zip allowance, and then we have all these excesses that we have, sewing allowance, zipper allowance, and all that. So I won't be using 36. I'm going to use the exact measurement that the waistline of this upper part gives me, because the lower part and the top part must align. So remember, I'm going to need to finish off the edges of the down part before I join it to the top part, and I should have the same amount of fabric on the two sides. So if I take the measurement of this, okay, so it gives me about 38.7, but because I still need to finish off the edges of the down part on the sides, I will need some extra inches there, so I'll add extra inches to this. So I'll cut 41 inches for the down part. Okay, so that is for the waist. I just wanted you to understand why I'm using 41 instead of the 36 that we had initially calculated. So it's to take into consideration all the excesses that we need, including the zip allowance, and then I need to finish off the edges and still have enough fabric for the side seams. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead to draft our bodice, our bottom part of our jumpsuit. Okay, so you can see some lines that I've already drawn on this paper. So my paper is not long enough. You can see I just used duct tape to kind of join it. It's not even enough, even as I've done it. So what I'll do is, for the length, I'll still be adding that extra inches that I need when I'm cutting on the fabric. Okay, so right now I just wanted us to understand these lines that I've drawn. So I've got the first line here, which is a random line. Again, it is going to act as my waistline, so that gives me a base to start my measurement and the drafting. Then from there I have my hip line. So mine is 8.5. You have to measure yours, but the standard should be between 8 and 9 for an average woman. Okay, mine is 8.5. So from my waist to my hip line, I'm using 8.5, and then from my hip line to my crotch line, it's actually 11, but I measured 13 here. Okay, I measured 13. Hope the camera can pick this. Okay, so you can see I measured 13, but if I'm making, for example, a normal trouser for a lady or shorts, I would be measuring that at 11 inches. I added extra 2 inches because this is a jumpsuit. It's going to be joined to the upper part, so you need to have enough room. So that's why we normally add that extra 2 inches. If you are on the bigger side, you can even add 3 inches. Okay, so that's why I've added this extra inches. So it's my waistline, hip line, crotch line, and I've just shown you in the video above how to take your crotch measurement, and also how to take your lap measurement, because we are going to be needing that. Okay, and then at the very edge here we have the hemline. Even though this paper is not long enough, I think this one measures 38.5, but I need I need about 4 extra inches. So because you've added this crotch to this crotch measurement, you've added an extra 2 inches. You can also add an extra 2 inches at the bottom. Okay, that will give you enough room. And I also want my jumpsuit to be long. It's actually floor length, so that, you know, I think it looks elegant that way. Okay, so we're going to start imputing our measurements. So we're going to use the measurements that, especially for the waist, I'm going to use the one that we have measured out on the top part, so that we have the same amount of fabric on the top and at the bottom, because otherwise you will get issues. So I think we measured 41, so you divide that 41 by 4, it gives me 10.25. So I'm going to be measuring that at the waistline. Put this up. I'm going to be measuring that 10.25, or you can just measure 10. I'm measuring 10.25. Okay, I was gonna say I'm looking for my pen here. Okay, so that is our waist measurement, and then we are going to go to our hip line. Okay, okay, so the next measurement is the hip measurement. You are going to divide it by 4 also. So remember your waist circumference measurement divided by 4. Mine gave me 9.2. That's what I've imputed there. The next measurement you're going to need to work with is your hip measurement. Hip divided by 4. Okay, mine is 44 inches. So divided by 4, it gives me 11. And then at the hip, rather at the crotch measurement, you're going to impute your thigh measurement, okay, or your lap measurement. Mine is 28 inches. Okay, so you are going to divide that 28 by 2. Okay, so the waist divide by 4, your hip you divide by 4, your crotch you are going to be imputing your lap measurement or your thigh measurement, and you divide it by 2. Okay, so mine is 28 inches. I've shown you how to take that measurement, and then I'm going to put that measurement there. Okay, I hope it's visible. Sorry, I keep on kicking into this tripod stand. Okay, so we have the lap measurement, which we are placing on the crotch line. Okay, so lap measurement by 2, hip divided by 4, waist divided by 4. Now, because this is going to be a palazzo, okay, and I really want it to be open at the bottom, so from the lap going down, I want it to really be kind of very open, and we're going to be inserting a box pleat, or a kissing pleat rather. It's a kissing pleat at the center, but we're going to get to that. Okay, so the next thing is just to join this. I'm just here thinking, so by the hip I'm going to add ease. Okay, let's add ½ inch ease. So I'll just put 2. I'll leave the waist as it is. I don't want to mess with that. So I've added some ease because you want to sit comfortably. And also, let me actually put 0.75 instead of half. I'm going to put 0.75 because I want to be comfortable. I want it to be not tight. I want it to have the shape at the hip. So from the waist to the hip, you want it to be properly shaped, but not too tight. Okay, so if you put the exact measurement there, it's going to be tight. So that's why I'm adding that 0.75. You can add 1 inch because it's also going to be a little bit, you know, free. Yeah, actually, let me even put just 1 inch is fine. I'm going to add 1 inch ease, and then we're going to take our, this is our crotch measurement, okay, the lap measurement. So the next thing is you want to join this measurement there. Okay, let me come here. So you're just joining this to there. Okay, you know what, let me just use 0.75 is fine. Just ignore that. I'll use 0.75 so that it's not too, okay. And then from this measurement, okay, from this measurement you join it to the crotch. Okay, you just make a curved shape there. Okay, I'm just going to come here and we're going to drop it this way. Okay, so we're going to follow that. Let me use a marker so that it's visible which line we're going to be following. So we're going to follow this. Okay, I think my marker is dried up.